developing Asian countries to record economic contractions this year. Higher excise rate, Sampurna hopes that the government to concern on multiplier Efek. Good afternoon, viewers from Indonesia and Singapore. Market Headlines is ready to provide you a number of informations from business, economic, and capital market sectors. With me, Claranta Wijaya, and this is Market Headlines. And yes, viewers, Asian Developing Bank, or ADB, stated that developing Asia countries like Indonesia, China, India, and Singapore will contract about 0.7% this year, whereas 3/4 of the region's economies are set to register negative growth for 2020. Developing Asia, which includes countries like China, India, Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, and Singapore, will contract this year for the first time in about 6 decades as the coronavirus pandemic continues to hammer economies worldwide, as ADB said. Indeed, weakening Indonesia's economy has strong relations with decreasing domestic consumptions, but Indonesia is not alone. The pandemic, which has now infected more than 29 million people worldwide, slowed domestic consumptions other developing Asia countries. It has affected external demand and hit exports, as Yasuyuki Sawada, ADB's chief economist, stated. Through ADB projections, developing Asia will contract 0.7% this year, whereas 3/4 of the region's economies are set to register negative growth for 2020. From all sources, IDX Channel. The government will reallocate the budget in the National Economic Recovery Program in 6 sectors. The government stated that the reallocations is intended to provide additional funds for the sectors that still need, and of course to accelerate budget absorptions.
In order to encourage 100% absorption of the budget by the end of the year, the government will reallocate the National Economic Recovery Program budget. Coordinating Minister for the Economic Affairs, Erlangga Hartarto, said that until September 17, 2020, the realization of the National Economic Recovery Program reached 254.4 trillion rupiah, or only 36.6% of the 695.2 trillion rupiah budget ceiling. With budget reallocation in 6 sectors, Erlangga is optimistic that the realization of the National Economic Recovery Fund until the end of the year will reach 100%. Erlangga estimates the potential realization or absorption of the National Economic Recovery budget by the end of 2020, namely health sector of 84.02 trillion rupiah, social protection 242.01 trillion, sectoral and regional government 71.54 trillion, SMEs 128.05 trillion, and corporate financing of 49.05 trillion, and business incentives 120.61 trillion rupiah.
Dan UMKM dari anggaran 123,46 diperkirakan akan sedikit meningkat sebesar 128,05 triliun. Kemudian untuk pembiayaan korporasi dari 53,6 triliun itu diperkirakan sebesar 49,05 triliun. Dari total pagu anggaran 695,2, realisasinya bisa mencapai 100% dengan komposisi realokasi pada 6 kelompok.
Meanwhile, the realization of the National Economic Recovery Budget until September 17 consists of a health budget of 33.4%, social protection reached 57%, sector ministries or agencies 49%, business incentive 18%, and support for SMEs by 41.34%. From Jakarta, Raharjo Patni for IDX Channel.
In the other hand, business actors asked the government to continue distribute the stimulus program, especially for SMEs. It is in line with the results of BPS survey, which revealed that almost half of business actors are not sure that they will be able to survive more than the next 3 months.
The Central Statistic Agency, or BPS, has conducted a survey of the impact of COVID-19 on business actors last July. From the survey, it is known that 69% of micro and small entrepreneurs need business capital assistance. Other forms of assistance needed are electricity bill relief for business, loan payment delays, ease of administration for loan applications, as well as postponement of tax payments. Not only small, medium and large businesses also expect incentives. Related to this, the head of BPS, Suharyanto, revealed that 43.5% of medium and large businesses hope for a reduction in electricity bills.
Hampir separuhnya, 58% pelaku usaha itu mengaku dia akan bisa bertahan lebih dari 3 bulan. Tetapi 42% adalah persentase besar. Karena itu ini tentunya perlu menjadi catatan dan berbagai program yang sudah dirancang oleh pemerintah harus segera terimplementasikan yang baik sehingga para pelaku usaha terutama UMKM yang jumlahnya besar ini bisa lebih optimis lagi.
Meanwhile, the General Chairman of Young National Muslim Entrepreneurs, or Permunas, Mulyadi Siregar, said that the stimulus provided by the government must be accelerated, where it will have a positive impact on the resilience of small businesses. From Jakarta, Raharjo Patmo for IDX Channel.
The Indonesian Associations of Hotels and Restaurants has rated more than 3,000 hotels room in Jakarta for asymptomatic COVID-19 patients.
The Indonesian Associations of Hotels and Restaurants, or PHRI, has rated a total of 3,700 hotels rooms in Jakarta for patients that contracted the COVID-19 but exhibited no symptoms. The Association's Secretary General Maulana Yusron sees that Jakarta's government's estimated requirements of 3,000 hotel rooms as a precautionary measures against a spike in the number of COVID-19 cases in the capital. Hence, the additions of 3,700 hotel rooms is expected to fulfill the hotel rooms requirements to accommodate asymptomatic patients. He stated that asymptomatic patients will not be placed at the hotels simultaneously but gradually. For additional information, the 3,700 rooms at 27 hotels comprise 1,605 rooms at 11 hotels in Central Jakarta, 557 rooms at 5 hotels in South Jakarta, 587 rooms at 4 hotels in East Jakarta, 602 rooms at 5 hotels in West Jakarta, and 360 rooms at 2 hotels in North Jakarta. For more sources for IDX Channel.
Market headlines will be right back.
IDX Channel, the Indonesia Stock Exchange channel, is the authorized capital market channel in Indonesia. To give references to global investors, IDX Channel also presented the news about the dynamic of Indonesia's economy, business, and capital market in English. IDX Channel also have different types of programs. They are Special Dialogue, Market Opening, Market Review, IDX First Session Closing, IDX Second Session Closing, Market Headlines, and News Screen. IDX Channel is aired 24 hours a day with 5 hours live program from Indonesia Stock Exchange trading floor. Our vision and mission as the only capital market TV channel in Indonesia that is committed to improve the capital market knowledge in the country. News that had been delivered on IDX Channel can also be seen on our digital platforms, so you can give yourself an update about informations anywhere and everywhere. IDX Channel can be watched through Vision Channel, First Media Channel, IndiHome Channel, and Vision Plus, and also live streaming on idxchannel.com. IDX Channel provides information from around the world from different perspectives. We provide you various investment strategies, stock options, inspiring figures for your business references. IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic, business, and capital market channel.
Being one of the sector that got hit by the pandemic really hard, the property sector is one of the sectors targeted in the National Economic Recovery Program, whereas government plans to extend national economic recovery through payment holiday for mortgage loan.
Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs, Erlangga Hartarto said the government will expand the national economic recovery, one of which is a payment holiday for home ownership loans or mortgage. The result was capital market warmly welcomed the government's plan. Last week, property issuers closed positive. Property index last Friday went up 0.88%. The leader went to Alam Sutra Realty that went up 11.9% to the level of 131 rupiah per share. From all sources for IDX Channel.
And yes, viewers, being one of the sectors that got hit by the pandemic really hard, the property sector is now targeted in the National Economic Recovery Agenda. And recently, the government plans to extend national economic recovery through a payment holiday for mortgage loan. And the result was quite significant when government rolled out such plan. Property sector went up 0.88% last Friday, and some big caps property stocks went higher its resistance level. And to examine more on markets perspective, here live by Zoom, we are going to have further discussions with Hendrico Gani as a technical analyst of Sikor Securitas. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hi. Good. Thank you. How about you?
I'm really good. Thank you for asking. Yes, sir. Just jump into the core. Big capitalization's property stock went up significantly after the government rolled out the plans to ease mortgage loan. And as we can see, for example, Alam Sutra Realty went up 12% and LPKR went up 4.2% last Friday. Do you think that it has correlations with government plans in the easing of the mortgage loans?
Yeah, I think the increase in property sector last Friday is correlated to that stimulus, and right now the REI is also urging the government to reduce the property taxes, which I believe if it happens, it will boost property demand, in the property sector.
Of course, it's one of the way of government to boost domestic consumptions in the property sector. But however, as we can see, last Friday was in the level of 0.88% higher. But however, today, Monday, it was weakening by 0.88% in the property sector. How can you assess this?
Yeah, I think it's because our GCI is also decreasing. We went down from almost all sectors here, and also our regional in China, Singapore, and also Hong Kong and else is weakening. Also, the Europe and global indexes are also weakening. So I think it's we have a correction here also in property sector.
Of course, sir. So do you think that property sector has any chance to gain up again?
I think for a long term, yeah. Yeah, I think for the long term, our property sector is still attractive, and the property sector stocks, is traded at attractive valuation, and also will have a good future with this positive sentiment.
Of course, sirs. And when we talk about segmented area, here we got so many segments in the property sector. Which segment is poised to deliver better returns in this case? Do you think it's a residential, or probably it's a malls, or even industrial areas?
I think the good sector is from industrial and property. Residential and the industrial sector, because malls need to boost their occupancy, while residential and industrial have many stimulus there, and I think it will boost the demand more than the malls, I think.
Oh, I see, sir. So from your perspective, it is more to industrial areas and residentials rather than the malls.
Malls, yeah.
Okay, sir. It's really interesting. But when we talk about mortgage loans, we have to admit that we have to know about the banking sector as well. And in here, Mortgage Focus Bank, or Bank Tabungan Negara, as we call it as BBTN, has received government bonds allocations for 5 trillion rupiah in September 2022. And later on, December 2022, the number will go up by 30 trillion rupiah. And specifically, if we talk about mortgage loan that is channelized by the BTN, it will be at around 5.2 trillion rupiah in September, and the number will go up in December by 8.2 trillion rupiah. So do you think that this is a signal for a property sector to go up again in the end of the year?
Yeah, we hope so, but we need more confirmation regarding to that. I mean, we have to look at the property market, the real sector, if the property sales is going to increase or no, because if the stimulus isn't response to by the market, I think the stock rally won't go further.
All right, sir. If you state it that way, we can see that this is such a good sentiment from the government to is the mortgage loan. But however, we cannot even deny that just a week before, Jakarta just held re-implemented of the large-scale social restrictions, and of course, this brings negative sentiment through the property sector, as we know that much property companies put much efforts in cutting marketing sales. But which one is stronger, actually? Do you think that it is stronger if we put negative sentiment from large-scale social restrictions, or is it stronger if we put government to ease mortgage loan?
For right now, I think property sector has discounted enough, right? Traded at attractive valuation, and looking with the technical, with the price movement, I think the market has received the positive sentiment more than the negative sentiment right now.
Okay, but then when we talk about property sectors in here as a whole, pandemic hit all sectors really, really hard. Not only property sectors, but all sectors in the market. But then how can you emphasize that there are other good sentiments in the property sectors? Do you think that there are other positive sentiments for property sector?
For property sector, I think we have a downtrend. Property has been downtrend for 5 years, or about 5 years, right? And I think right now it's traded at low valuation and also fundamentally good, and there's other stimulus which give a positive catalyst to property sector, and also the demand of housing is really increasing right now. I think it will boost the property sector and also the stocks. Property stocks, the pre-sales of Summarecon Agung and also Ciputra and also BSDE has increased over year, and the stock still plummeted. I think it's a good sign to buy
it's
for
really
the property
interesting.
sector.
It's really interesting you put it that way. So your recommendations in property stock, better hold it or buy it?
For right now, I think we can put buy. Fundamentally, we can recommend buy for property sector, but looking at our GCI and also other regional and global indexes, I think we need to wait. I think I mean like wait and see and looking for a good market environment to re-entry, or you can buy on weakness, if we say it in technically,
All right, sir. Thank you for your recommendations and thank you for your explanations. It really helps us for the investors to go down with the property sectors. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Laura.
Have a nice evening. And viewers, stay tuned with us because market headlines will be right back after this quick break. Presiden Joko Widodo mendukung penuh langkah Badan Pemeriksa Keuangan untuk mengaudit anggaran penanganan COVID-19.
Saya tegaskan untuk menyamakan frekuensi bahwa kita memang dalam kondisi krisis.
PT Raja Wali Nusantara Indonesia terus melakukan sinergi.
Kami mendapat amanah untuk menjadikan pangan ini tidak menjadi satu isu lagi.
di mana kebijakan pemerintah DKI Jakarta yang akan memperlakukan PSBB total diprediksi akan berdampak pada pertumbuhan kredit perbankan. Saham-saham pilihan apa saja yang direkomendasikan oleh Bapak Rafandi untuk perdagangan di pekan depan? Singkat saja analisisnya, Pak.
Seperti saya bilang, bahwasanya dia ada potensi ke 4.900.
Dan disclaimer-nya adalah lagi-lagi keputusan investasi tetap ada di tangan Anda, para investor dan trader pasar modal Indonesia.
Sebetulnya industri hilir itu lokal itu udah siap. Jadi pemerintah juga nggak perlu lagi menarik investor untuk industri hilir. Jadi pemerintah cukup menarik investor untuk industri bahan baku.
Pandemi Corona memberikan dampak yang signifikan bagi para pelaku usaha. Namun meski demikian, Konfederasi Serikat Pekerja Indonesia atau KSPI meminta kenaikan upah minimum sebesar 8%. Welcome back to Market Headlines. So let's deep dive into the current market situation. So let's take a look at Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement. So earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 5,058.78, and then approaching the closing time in the first session, the index was on the level of 5,048.19. And then the index was showing strengthening trend by the second session closing time. The index was closed at the level of 4,999.36. And in short, JCI went up 0.54%. And next, we are going to see the sectoral movement leading the dynamics of today's trading. Here it is. We got agriculture as the leader of the strengthening trend that went up 1.27%. And next, as the leader of the weakening trend, we got basic industry that went down 2.2%. Infrastructure went down 2.17%, and consumer goods that went down 0.83%. And moving on to the top gainers and the top losers. Here it is. We can see the key highlights from today's trading session. BSDE that went up 3.9% to the level of 800 rupiah per share. DEAL that went up 6.45% to the level of 132 rupiah per share. AALI that went up 5.71% to the level of 10,650 rupiah per share. And next, IRRA that went up 10.48% to the level of 685 rupiah per share.
And meantime, for the top losers for today's trading, we got Telkom Indonesia that went down 2.77% to the level of 2,810 rupiah per share. BBNI for the banking sector that went down 3.16% to the level of 4,590 rupiah per share. And NV that went down 6.15% to the level of 61 rupiah per share. And Astra International that went down 2.3% to the level of 4,670 rupiah per share. And next, we are going to see the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. So rupiah opened at the level of 14,680. Rupiah was also showing strengthening trend towards US dollar. I was closed at the level of 14,644. Same like JCR in summary, rupiah went up 0.84%. Due to government plan to increase cigarette excise tax in 2021, HM Sampurna hopes that the government policy will still protect cigarettes industry as a labor-intensive sector.
The government plans to increase state revenue from customs and excise next year. As a result, the government has ensured that the cigarette excise rate for 2021 will increase again. Even so, the government has not announced the percentage of the increase in excise tax. Responding to this, cigarette manufacturer company Hanjaya Mandala Sampurna or HMSP stated that it understands that the government needs tax revenue, especially in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic situation. However, Sampurna hopes that the government can adopt policies that create equality in doing business. In addition, Sampurna also hopes that the policy can protect the cigarette industry sector, which absorbs a lot of workforce, namely the hand-rolled cigarette segment. As an illustration, Sampurna President Director Mindaugas Trumpaitis said that to produce 1 billion sticks of hand-rolled cigarettes, the company needs 2,700 employees. Moreover, as a labor-intensive segment, the existence of the hand-rolled cigarette factory also has a significant multiplier effect in the social and economic fields in the area where the factory is located. In addition to affecting workers, excessive tax increases in this segment can also affect tobacco farmers who supply their produce to cigarette companies. The reason is that the increase in excise has the potential to further reduce the volume of cigarette sales so that it can reduce the demand for tobacco from farmers. From all sources, for IDX Channel.
Property company is on the rise again as government plans to put property sector in the national economic recovery agenda. And therefore, listed property company Ciputra Development stays in touch with its marketing sales target on 4.5 trillion rupiah.
In the midst of pandemic, there's no doubt property companies are struggling. But government plans to put property sector in the national economic recovery agenda. It raises optimism in the property companies, including Ciputra Development. Plus point, Ciputra Development is aware that property is a strategic sector that can be a leveraging factor for the economy with a high multiplier effect. Therefore, listed property company Ciputra Development stays in touch with the marketing sales target on 4.5 trillion rupiah. As of the first semester of 2020, the realizations of marketing sales reached 2 trillion rupiah. But still, the company holds its plan to do expansion, as Ciputra Development Director Tulus Santoso said. From all sources, IDX Channel. A step aside from market conditions as coronavirus pandemic takes a big role on current economic situations, here it is an update data about coronavirus globally. And yes, viewers, the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, your trustworthy academic, business, and capital market channel. I'm Clara Antawijaya. Have a nice evening and stay safe.